Happy New Year and welcome to Open Line. I'm Starlene Stringer. Now, if one of your New Year's resolutions is to get fit in 2018, then you'll be happy to know Irving Parks and Recreation's department has all kinds of resources to help you meet your goals and have some fun in the process too. Joining me today are Joseph Moses, Parks and Recreation Assistant Director, Esther Esquivel, Community Program Supervisor, and Bobby Henry, Community Program Supervisor. I want to thank you all for being here.
Thanks for having us.
You're welcome. This is going to be fun and exciting. I mean, a lot of people are heading to the gyms, getting back in shape. That's what everybody's saying they're going to do in 2018, right?
Yep, New Year's resolutions.
Exactly. So, Joe, Irving has a number of rec centers, trails, parks, and more to benefit our residents and visitors. So can you give us an overview of what we have to offer here in Irving?
Sure. The city has 6 recreation centers. We have 1 teen center, and then we have 1 adult center. We have the Campion Trails, which are beautiful scenery for runners, joggers, bikers. So there's a number of activities to get involved with, to go out there and keep fit within the city.
Makes it very convenient. You mentioned indoor locations and outdoor locations too, because there are people, you know, with excuses like, well, I would work out, but it's a little cold outside.
We got them covered.
Or it's a little hot. You definitely have them covered indeed. Well, for those who prefer to exercise indoors, let's talk about what the recreation centers actually have to offer. And for that, I want to turn to Esther. Let's start with the Northwest Park, beginning with where it's located, in case people don't know.
It is located off of 183 in Esther's, right in the middle of the city.
Wonderful. And you also supervise operations at Lee Park, right?
Yes.
And where's that located?
Off of 183 and MacArthur.
And so you have a lot to offer there, and we'll be talking about that more throughout the show. But I want to come to you, Bobby, because for residents and visitors in the Valley Ranch area, there are Mustang Park and Cimarron Park recreation centers. Can you tell us a bit about those?
Cimarron Park is off of Red River Trail in MacArthur, and Mustang Park is off of Ken West, and they're both in the north side of Irving.
Wonderful. Now, coming back to you, Esther, tell us what your centers have to offer for people who are not familiar with them.
Well, for the adults, since you did mention fitness, we offer fitness classes Monday through Friday in the evenings. We start them at 7 o'clock. They're hour-long classes from 7 to 8, 8 to 9, and 9 to 9:45 because we do close at 10 o'clock. We offer anything from introduction to weights, cardio classes, walking classes, stretching, upper body, walking, jogging classes, and we also offer them on Saturdays.
Wonderful. I'm glad you mentioned the different levels, including introduction, because I think people get overwhelmed sometimes and think, well, everyone's going to already know how to do this, and I don't know how to take a class or how to lift weights properly, but you offer all that information for them.
Yes, and our employees are qualified to teach those classes.
Good.
So they all have bachelor's degrees in exercise, recreation, or a related field, so they are the ones that are teaching the classes for us.
Okay. And Bobby, what can we expect at your rec centers?
Pretty much the same, but we do look into the community and see what different activities that we can bring. So we go anywhere from preschool up until adult classes, fitness classes, sports classes, arts and craft and all. But along with the fitness side, we do Zumba, yoga, dance aerobics, Indian heritage dance, because we have a big Indian heritage culture out there. Bollywood. So we have a array of fitness classes for adults. The youth, we also have like basketball, flag football. One of our instructors is a part-time school teacher, and he does a fitness class with some of the youth and teens that come into the school.
And I understand also that Cimarron Park is home to one of Irving's aquatic centers.
Yes.
So how do y'all partner with them? How does that work?
Well, it helps us a lot because in the past we used to go out with our summer camps or spring break camps and maybe outsource to a different city that has a multiple aquatic center. But with Irving building one in the north side at Cimarron, and they also have one on the south side at Georgia Farrell, it allows us to partner with them so we don't outsource too far. We got it right there in the middle of our neighborhood. So it kind of is cost savings to us, and it also allows our campers in the neighborhood to utilize our facilities right in our neighborhood.
So it's definitely a win-win, sounds
Yes.
like. Wonderful. And so I want to come back to you, Joe, because I understand there's been a lot of improvements and renovations to some locations. And I want to talk about the new additions to Sunrise Park. What have you done there?
We went in with Sunrise, and they've done they redid the trail system. We moved one of the pavilions around, redid the playgrounds and up there at Sunrise. It's a smaller park, community-based park, but it was very heavily utilized. So it was a really big improvement to go out there and be able to do that for those folks that live in that section of town. So we're really happy to be able to do that in that park.
Wonderful. Okay. And then, Joe, what's the master plan for parks?
Sure. We have a big park system. We have over 80 parks, over 1,900 acres of parkland.
Wow.
So it's a very big system. Some of these parks have been around for a long time. So what we do with the master plan is we bring in a firm that comes in, they assess all of our parks and recreation facilities. We want to check out the infrastructure, make sure things are sound. They help us develop a plan to keep up to date with the maintenance on those facilities and bring older facilities up to date or up to standard where we need to be. Mm-hmm. But they also look at the growth in the city. Do we have enough facilities to service our customer base? Where do we need to expand? What do we need to expand? So it's a very comprehensive look at our whole operation, and kind of serves as a roadmap to the future. Tells us what we need to be doing next to serve our citizens best.
Wonderful. That's really impressive that you're doing that. And I understand currently there are people that are just really, really into Northwest Park, and they're taking advantage of your outdoor fishing of facilities, I should say. So Esther, can you talk a bit about that, how people are taking advantage of the outdoor facility there?
Well, the great thing about Northwest is their outdoor amenities. In the spring and in the fall and in the summer, they get utilized, all day long. And with our outdoor amenities, they don't need a membership. So you see a lot of families. We have a sand volleyball court, tennis courts, an outdoor basketball court, nice pavilion area, a pond where they can fish, and a walking trail. We have a beautiful playground. And so families go there every single day, and it is just completely packed because we don't require a membership. It's on a first come, first served basis. And so people love to go out there and enjoy the weather and walk around, see kids kicking the soccer balls. It's just really, really nice. We also have a splash park.
Oh, wow. A little bit of something for everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
That sounds great. And so, Bobby, I know you also see a high level of engagement from the neighborhoods around Mustang and also Cimarron Park. So can you tell us what kind of activities people enjoy there?
It's pretty much the same. We have outdoor basketball courts, sand volleyball. We have a gymnasium for jungle gymnasium. Is the way that they create them now is you could do pretty much any type of climbing or sliding or anything for the young kids. We also have backstops for softball, soccer fields and stuff. And that's one of the things about Irving, when you look at the communities and you look at the rec centers, and in each community, they provide a park in there. And within those parks, then you might have a small pocket park that is like 2 miles in between the next center. So besides the rec centers, your little pocket parks, we try to give our neighborhood a wide range of outdoor activities. And a lot of what they do at Cimarron and Mustang, it's almost like a community socialization. Because every evening, like you said, if it's good weather outside, you're talking about 60 to 80 people. It's packed, so there is a lot of room that we need to grow. But if you look at all the amenities that we do have, everything is being utilized. So it's one thing that we really are proud of, that, and to see that when our community come out and they use it, it's being used a lot.
Wonderful. Yeah, you keep hearing a lot of people talk about how we don't know our neighbors anymore. People don't get out in the community. But when it comes to the rec centers, it seems like that's changing. People are getting out and having a good time together.
Yes.
Love that. Okay, so I want to come back to you, Joe, because it seems Irving's trails really attract a lot of residents and visitors also to take advantage of the amenities. But let's talk about Campion Trails, for example. I know there was some flood damage. How is the recovery going for that for people who are concerned?
You know what? I really have to take my hat off to our CIP department. Casey Tate and his team did an outstanding job overseeing those repairs out there. Sam Houston Trail is up and running again. it's even more beautiful than it was originally. We sustained some damage out there. We were underwater for quite a while, but the team came in and they assessed the damage and they came up with a repair and got that done for us. It was down a little bit longer than we liked, but you know the floodwaters lasted a little bit longer, but the repairs were well worth the wait. It's just beautiful. And again, you know, that's one of the assets that we have here in Irving is not only do we build great facilities, but we have a team that works with us, that helps us keep those facilities up to par. Mm-hmm. And if there's an issue, they respond really quickly to get that repaired and get it back up and running.
We're getting to see some of it, and it really is gorgeous. You're right. I think there's also some news about expanding. Is that true?
Yeah, the trail system, you have the northern section and you have the southern section. Again, the same department, see our capital improvement team. They're working on a plan to connect the two, the north and the south, so that way you'll be able to ride across from the north side of Irving all the way on to the south side of Irving. So we're really excited once that plan gets developed and they make that connection. The trail is also connecting to different cities. On the southern end, we're connecting into Grand Prairie. And then on the northern end, we're going to be, I think we're connecting into Carrollton. So it's going to be a great transit system out there for people who are into biking or just if you like to get in the outdoors, go out and enjoy nature, our trail systems offer that.
Wonderful. And since we're talking about exciting news, I know kids watching this right now would be happy to know about the playground equipment that's being added to Center Park.
Well, actually, we just added a new playground out at Center Park. We were able to utilize some CDBG funding, community block grant funding. Housing Human Services worked with us. That's one of many projects that they worked with us on. And they replaced that playground out at Center Park, brought in some new features. As Bobby indicated earlier, the playgrounds that we get today, they're not our traditional playgrounds, you know, where you just have a swing and a slide.
Right.
There's a lot of climbing features, very interactive units out there. So that was something that the community was really looking forward to. And the minute that the construction fencing came down and that playground was open to play, the kids were on it. So it was a great amenity to add out there.
So a lot of kids are already aware. They're like, oh, we knew it before the show. We are already out there and enjoying it.
They're already out there enjoying it.
That's
yes,
a good thing. Okay, and I know there's plans in the works also for other expansions and upgrades soon to come. Let's talk briefly about Georgia Faro. Tell me what's happening there.
Georgia Faro is one of our smaller recreation centers. And again, through the utilization of a Section 108 grant and working with Housing Human Services, we're trying to get that facility expanded. We were looking at adding locker room facilities, restroom facilities, adding a second gym, doing some improvements to the parking, lighting out there. The weight room will be expanded. It's going to be a great addition for that community. There's a lot of growth down there. There's a lot of new housing developments that are coming on board in that neighborhood. So those folks are going to be looking for a place to recreate. And the smaller facility just can't accommodate that. So it's coming in at a great time. It's a great utilization of the resources that we have here. That expansion, again, as I mentioned, is all through Housing Human Services. That's not general fund money. So that's a great win for the city.
Wonderful. And for the people using all the equipment and things too. They're
Yes,
like,
ma'am.
it's a win for us. Okay, so me and my friends, when we see this, we both, like a few of us, we pronounce it differently. So how do you pronounce? Is it Luzon?
I pronounce it Luzon.
See, then we have this little battle going, no, it's Luzon, no, it's Luzon. I'm like, it's Luzon. But
Yeah.
I'm glad that you say Luzon, so we'll go
I
with
say
that.
Luzon.
I win. What kind of improvements and
Yep.
enhancements are coming to Luzon Park?
There's playground improvements out there at Luzon Park, some lighting improvements, and some of the park amenities out there. Luzon is our second oldest park in the city, and it's in the middle of a neighborhood. It's kind of a neighborhood park, but it's heavily utilized by those residents out there. This is something that's been a long time coming, and again, they're looking forward to it with great anticipation. They're really going to appreciate all the new things that are out there. The play unit out there is an older play unit, and as I mentioned earlier, with the new ones and the new features that come with these play units, it's going to be exciting for those kids. So it's something, it'll be a focal point for the community again for another 10, 20 years.
Wonderful. And so how important has community input been in all these plans for all the projects going on right now?
You know, it's essential to what we do. We take pride in the fact that we reach out to our citizens, our users. We want to make sure that we're providing services and we're making improvements and things that they like. Our number one goal in Parks and Recreation is to enhance the quality of life of our residents. And it's hard to do that if I don't know what you want, if I'm not reaching out to you, if I don't have a feeling for what your needs are. So it's important to have that component. So on all of our projects, you'll see a number of community input meetings. We'll engage with our boards, our parks and rec boards, or our advisory councils from our rec centers. We want to make sure that we know what the citizens want, and when we go out there and we build things, we don't want to just meet their expectations. We want to try to exceed them. So we have to know what the goal is so that we can make sure that happens.
Wonderful. And talking about exceeding goals, I want to turn to you, Bobby, now, because I know we have a lot of people that are interested saying, okay, I want to sign up for some of these classes they've been talking about, or head out to the parks. But for those who want to sign up for the classes, I understand online registration program was piloted at Mustang Park and Cimarron Park, right?
Yes.
So tell viewers how they can register online for the Irving Park and Recreation classes that are being offered at this time.
Okay, they could go to the cityofirving.org.
Okay.
And go to the Parks and Recreation, and there is a create an account online. Once they create an account online, then they come to their local rec center, and they could get their ID card made and pay for their membership. If they are a resident of Irving, it's $5 for the year for their ID card for their membership. And then after that, they can register for any of the classes online. If they want to register their kids, they will also add them as a member to their family. And then the kids will get their ID card made and everything. And then all they have to do is go online during the registration time, or after registration, if the classes are still open, they can sign up. Okay. You could do that online or go into your local recreation center, and we could do all of that for you. Okay. But the easiest way is to do it online, come to the rec center, and we get everything done then. And the online service it's been working really, really good, because in the past, on registration night, we normally have a line of 70 to 80 people for each line, for each class. You know, so the online registration allows you to stay at home, just click, cart, and you're done.
Right.
You know, and it is a little bit of, you know, the early bird gets the, so right at 6, you got to be ready, you know. And then there are some classes that are still open a day or so later, but it's best to, the first day of registration at 6 o'clock, go ahead and get the classes that you want.
Okay, thank you for explaining that to us. And so for you, Esther, what do you recommend for people who decide, okay, that sounds great and it made it super simple, but I still just want to go in and register in person?
Which is what typically happens at Northwest.
Oh boy.
For some reason, you know, it is technology. And so, and I'll speak about our preschool classes. That is something that parents really enjoy at Northwest. And so we've had where they don't trust the system, so they will show up at our facility at 4 o'clock, although registration starts at 6, because they want to make sure that they get into our classrooms, you know, into our classes. We offer preschool classes Monday through Friday from 9 to 1, and every single class fills up, but they feel more comfortable having that person-to-person interaction and making sure that we are going to get them in the classes, rather than them depending on technology to get them in.
Okay, so you're saying people are doing it that way, but you still offer both.
We offer both. We even have a kiosk where that, you know, at times mom will be in line, dad will be on his phone, aunt will be at the kiosk to see who is going to get into the classroom first.
Oh, wow. It's a little battle of competition, but you know what? Y'all are popular, and that's a good problem to have, that people are wanting to take advantage of what you have to offer. So thank you for explaining that to them, so now they know the best way to do it.
Yes.
I want to come back to you, Joe, because I know Irving families are really excited about the athletic programs that you have to offer. And there are some people that have no clue what athletic programs you have to offer. So can you walk us through the types of sports that are available through the athletics program?
Sure. The way our athletics department works here is we provide facilities, and then there's different types of associations that provide a particular sport here. And we have a wide range. You have your traditional sports. You have youth football, basketball, baseball. We have a huge soccer program that's ran by the Soccer Association. We have some adult softball that goes on out there. We also have there's gymnastics. Cricket, there's a cricket organization here. So we have a wide range of associations that work with us that provide those types of sports activities here for our residents here in Irving. As they indicated, we have a very diverse population, so it's essential that we have diverse offerings in our sports groups here in the city.
And so what information do viewers need to know about that as far as registration, the fees, registration times? How do they go about signing up?
A lot of the information is online. If you go to the Irving Parks and Recreation homepage and then you go to the athletics section, it will give you all the information on all of the organizations that we have here that we partner up with to provide sports throughout the city. So whatever particular sport that you want, you can click on that link and it will give you registration information, league information, contact information for the association. So everything is a click away.
I love it. And this is really interesting too. This is pretty cool. I understand that you can actually rent the facilities. And so residents can say, hey, I'd like to rent a facility out for a special event. How does that program work and what do residents need to know about using the facilities here in Irving?
Sure. For our athletic fields or facilities, anyone can rent. We have a resident and a non-resident rate, and you just call up the city hall, and based on availability, you can book some of the athletic fields for practices and things like that. Our rental facilities are for Irving residents only. And we have several facilities throughout the city that you can rent for birthday parties, anniversaries, any type of family function. There are some rules and regulations, of course, that apply to those, but they're great. They're priced very affordably for our residents here. We have multiple groups that are longtime users that use those facilities on a regular basis for meeting facilities. But it's a great asset, a great amenity that we have here in the city.
Definitely sounds like it. Now, we always ask people to write in, share their questions, their thoughts and comments, or something they may want us to ask you. And so, Joe, before we end the show, we have a few more questions, but there have been a lot of interest in the improvements at Twin Wells Golf Course. What can you share about what's planned and the progress that's being made, because people want to know?
You know, if you had a chance to go out there, there's a lot of progress being made. We just finished installing the main line of our irrigation system, which is pretty exciting. You think of irrigation, you think, it's a pipe in the ground and water, but there's a lot of technology that goes into it. There's a new pipe, a high density polyurethane pipe that we're using out there that will be a lot stronger in case of ground movement or shifting out there. So that system we shouldn't have a problem with that new pipe in the ground for another 20 years. I mean, it'll probably outlast us, which is a great improvement to what we had out there, the previous system. They're out there now. They're working on the transfer pump, which will pull water from the Trinity River and fill a pond, and that water will be used to irrigate the golf course. So that's going on right now. There's a company out there now that's going to be responsible for the redesign of some of the holes out there at the course and rerouting. So we have 3 moving parts at one time that are going on. What our residents can expect is a golf course that is familiar with some new amenities. It'll be going in, we'll be redirecting some of the holes. There'll be some changes made for safety, but the tees and the greens and the fairways will be all nice and fresh and new. So we're really excited about that.
That is exciting. And I know the recreation centers also host a lot of community events. And so, Bobby, I want to talk to you a bit about something that you hosted last year. It was a huge turnout. It was the first ever Frost Fest, and a lot of people say they enjoyed that. You had a big turnout for that. Tell us about it.
Yes, that was one of the special events that our special event coordinator assistant did, Jasmine Lee, and she hosted it at Cimarron, which our staff was very instrumental into helping her get that kicked off. It was a lot of people that came out. It was the first Frost Fest. And they had slides, ice slides, they had snow mountains, ice skating, arts and crafts and everything. And so I think it kind of took us by surprise on the turnout. So this year on January the 27th, we will be ready for them this year. And I think it's going to be bigger and better this year. But the community, they loved it. Everything was free. And like I said, the turnout was just more than we expected. Wow. And so we are looking for a bigger portion this year.
I see. And I understand there's also a big event, a night hike planned for Campion Trails too.
Yes, every quarterly we do a night hike. So all the rec centers will try to get kids signed up, and they can sign up online on the ActiveNet or go into their local rec centers. and we will take a number of kids per rec center to the trails and look for different species at night, and we will have a tour guide.
Wait, go back. You're going to go on this trail and look for different species at night?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And he smiles as he says it, like, what kind of species?
Well, I don't go, so.
Okay, see? I was like, okay, wait a minute.
I don't go, but we do have a tour guide that will
That's
be pointing out different species and stuff for them, and then they'll take a count of how many different species that they do see.
Okay.
You know, and so they'll have snacks, and it's not as bad as it seems because it's really controlled.
It sounded nice and romantic. I thought, you know, just present it differently to your spouse. Just say, we're going to go on a nice romantic walk, or you're going on a nice date. We're going to go on a nice romantic hike, and then maybe mention that part a little bit later.
Well, the kids love it.
I bet.
You know, and they understand that, you know, it's at night, and so they are in a little group. But I think it's exciting for them because they'll give them little flashlights and little things, and once they throw the flashlight, they might see some eyes.
Oh boy!
You know, so
yeah, kids would love that.
yeah. So they love it. So it's a real popular program that we do every year.
And that's coming up. It sounds really great. And so, speaking of loving it, each of you have been with the recreation centers for 15 to 20 years. It seems.
Yes.
I think it's
Or
correct,
more.
right? If he says longer. So, what is it? I'm going to ask each of you the question, and we'll start with you, Bobby. What is it that makes you stay? What do you love most about your job and what you're being able to do for the community?
I think it's the impact that you have on some of the people, the kids. For me, I know this is like one of the only jobs I ever had, you know, the city of Irving. And once I got in it and I learned what it was about, I mean, I fell in love with it. And, you know, after year, and you're working, and then you see kids from 3 to 6 year old grow up to adults. They bring their kids back, and then they'll tell their kids, this is Mr. Bobby. He was very instrumental in tutoring me, mentoring me, disciplining me, you know, and
right.
all of
He's
that.
honest.
But, and honestly, I had about 3 or 4 guys over the Christmas break come back. You know, a couple of them that I've kicked out, you know, but that's the discipline part and the respect level that we get between each other. And so they learned a lot, and they'll come back now as adults and thank you.
That's
you know,
wonderful.
I want to thank you for doing the right thing, even though I might not have liked it. You know, there's some people that had even just good experiences, no bad experiences. You know, they thanked us for doing that, and they bring their kids and let us teach them.
That's wonderful. And so that's that makes you stay doing what you're doing
yes,
and stay
I
happy
love
and
it.
continue to smile and love
Yes.
your job.
Most
What about
definitely.
you, Esther? All of you have these great smiles and you say such great things about the rec center and you love it and it shows. So what would you say you're most proud of?
What I'm most proud of is, well, I started working for the city one summer, the summer before my senior year. And it was a summer job, and I actually worked with Bobby. Loved what the city represented. But I was going into coaching and teaching. So my degree's in exercise, sport, and health education, double majored in Spanish. Decided that I wanted to work for the city of Irving, but I was told that I needed to have my degree. So as soon as I got my degree, I started working for the city of Irving. What I enjoyed most was, because I was going into coaching and teaching, is we were still able to teach classes, coach, you know, leagues, run and direct, whether it was a basketball league or a soccer league. But then the classes that we learned, you know, in school, juggling, marbles, you know, it's those little classes. But the biggest thing is exactly what Bobby said, is you never know the difference that you're making. I loved coming to work every single day because I was able to coach and teach all these kids starting at age 3, even adults, all the way, I think our oldest student is 87. And not knowing that it was a job. It was just the fact that you go in there and you enjoy what you do. You make a difference without even knowing that you're making a difference.
Beautifully said.
So then you have those kids that they were the reason why I came to work every single day.
Beautiful.
Now they've graduated from college and they've come back to tell me that I'm the reason why they were coming every single day. And even if it was 110 degrees outside and we were playing, you know, softball, every single day it was just wonderful because of them.
Oh, let's thank you. Because of you, they would say also. And last but not least,
I mean, you know, it's a similar story. If you don't have a story where you've impacted someone's life, then you're not working in recreation. It's very rewarding. Every day we get to interact with people, we get to have an impact on their life, and that's huge. To me, one of the things that I like, and it's funny, is I ran into a guy with his child, and we were talking. He was a person that was in my summer camp over 20 years ago, and now he's an adult and he's got his child with him, and we were talking, and he introduced me to his daughter. And as he was walking away, of course, the child said, "Well, Dad, well, how do you know him? Who?" And he was like, "He taught me how to tie my shoe."
Oh, wow.
And something that minor meant that much to him. And so you get to do that on a daily basis with people. Simple things. It doesn't have to be the big things. We interact with a lot of seniors that come into our rec centers for classes. We make it a point to know your name, ask you how you're doing today.
Small things
That
make
may
a
be
big
the only
difference.
conversation that person has for that day. So it's just a very rewarding job. It goes beyond money and other things. You're investing in people, and the rewards that you get back are priceless. So it's the only job I ever wanted, and it's the only thing I'll ever do.
I love it. Definitely sounds like a rewarding job in more ways than one. Thank you
Yes.
all so much for being here. I appreciate your time and for talking about the recreation centers that y'all
Thank
love.
you.
Thank you. And thank you for watching this edition of Open Line. I'm Starlene Stringer. Please be sure to join us on Thursday, February 8th at 1:30 p.m. for our next edition of the show. We'll see you then.